is a picture of my mother when she was living in El Salvador. It is important to me because I've never seen her so happy. My mother brought me to this country when she was 21 years old. My mother's been through a lot. And when I look at this photo, it just reminds me of how happy she once was. Now all she does is work and work and work, and she looks so tired all the time.
This photo was for my first lowrider car show. I was 12, and I'm right next to a 2004 Cadillac Escalade me and my dad built. 26-inch custom wheels, suspension hydraulics, and candy caramel graphics. When we drove up to the car show, a whole bunch of people were checking out the ride. My dad got out of the car and said, "Work the hydraulics, give them a show." And I was like, no, dang. So I got in the driver's seat and started pulling switches, popping up to the side, the other side, up, backwards, forwards. I don't know if you've ever been inside a Cadillac Escalade on hydraulics. It's freaking scary, mister. But I had like 50 lowriders watching me, so I just kept popping. Finally, I got out of the truck and my legs were shaking. But all the homies were high-fiving me like I just rode a bull or something. I felt like a lowrider, mister.
Well, thank you all for sharing your assignments about your families. This book is like my family photo album, 500 years of Chicano history. If you look through pages 78 through 88, you will find pictures of people who look just like my family.
¿Son campesinos?
My entire family were farm workers. When my parents were just a few years older than you, they picked grapes in California for 90 cents an hour and 10 cents a bushel. Living conditions were poor. Their homes had no running water, no heat, no place to cook their food. And these were houses that they rented from the landowners who they worked for. Finally, on September 16, 1965, under the leadership of Cesar Chavez, the farm workers decided to stop working and go on strike. Now, the landowners, they tried several tactics to stop the protests. They paid teamsters to beat them with clubs. They hired other men to threaten them with firearms, and some people were actually killed. And although the protesters never retaliated violently, many of them were arrested. That was the norm. Their demands for better working conditions and better wages were very clear, and their methods were nothing less than peaceful. By the 1970s, the farm workers won their rights. However, even though this book simply tells a part of our history, it is forbidden in Arizona classrooms where ethnic studies courses are outlawed. Now, I want you to consider this. If I was to take away your pictures, your stories, your memories, what would that do to you?
Dang, it would be like my favorite memory didn't exist.
That is what the prohibition of this book does to people like me. We wouldn't know who we are. We would have no knowledge of who we are.
You wouldn't be proud. My parents were farm workers, and we never saw a picture of them in the field.
How do you feel about them?
Now, I feel proud of them.
Very good.
Mister, can I borrow the book? I want to show it to my parents. I don't think they know that farm workers are in history books.
Seguro que sí se puede.
Thank you, mister.